In your times like interviewing celebrities and stuff, what's the worst experience you've had without naming anybody, obviously, but what is there one that comes to mind as just like kind of a disaster?
I'd say for the most part, they're in like media mode. You know, they understand a
Right.
camera's there. They understand like this is recorded and going to be like put out there to the masses. But I will name names because I've told this story a few times. But I was in Mexico City for the James Bond film Spectre. So I was interviewing Daniel Craig and Dave Bautista, and I went in to interview Christoph Waltz, who plays the bad guy in this movie. He's the Bond villain here. He's the bad guy from Inglourious Bastards, like
Oh yeah.
incredible, amazing actor.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was kind of still like acting the part. So I walk into the room and he's standing there like with his hands behind his back, like almost like standing like oh, hello, it's good to see you. And he's like, take a seat. And I'm like, I don't know which seat, like which one is my seat and your seat and which side's, oh, it's this seat. So I want to ask him this question because I don't think that any villain or any bad guy in a movie thinks they're a bad guy. Like they're justified in their actions, right?
Right.
So I wanted to ask him about that. Like this Bond villain doesn't think he's a Bond villain. He thinks he's doing the right thing for him.
Right.
So I said, how do you think that he would describe himself? And he goes, it is not my job to do your job for you. I am not going to tell you how to do this. I'm like, what? Like, I thought it was like a pretty like straightforward question.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be like, I think my character thinks he's actually pretty sweet. I think my character would actually, I thought he would like go on this nice, like introspective, like look into his character, but instead it was almost like he was offended that I was asking this. So the interview continued on with these kind of answers from him. So I just cut it short and I was like, oh, that was a really strange experience. And everyone kind of that interviewed him that day said the same thing. Then I interviewed him 2 years later for a film called Alita Battle Angel. And we flew all the way to New Zealand for this interview. And in that film, his character's like this father figure. He's very compassionate. He's very nice. He looks after the main character, Alita. So when we did that interview, it was like I talked to a completely different person. He was sweet and nice and charming, and everything I said was funny. It was like the wildest thing. And the night before, we all went to this dinner, like all the journalists and all of the stars from the movie. And he like had a toast for everybody. And I was like, this is a completely different person than the one I met. And I would just have to think that because he's such a great actor, I think maybe he gets so invested in these characters that he kind of like still has a little bit of himself or that character in him as he's doing these interviews.